Hi, I'm Jennifer Schwab, and welcome to Living Green, brought to you by Sierra Club Green Home. Architects need to be creative when it comes to finding solutions for their own homes. Scott Perry's no exception to that. Today we're going to take a trip down memory lane to see how Scott is making the old new again. Scott remodeled this 1950s tract home, which runs about 1,200 square feet, to take advantage of all the gorgeous views that the canyon has to offer. Part of the charm of this 2-bedroom, 2-bath house is that every door on the east side of the house opens up to an exterior deck that faces the canyon. When you look out, you get breathtaking views of oleander, bay laurel, live oaks, and chaparrals. Scott's design genius lies in making low-cost improvements to an already standing home. He's careful not to lose the original integrity of the structure, but he's still making little improvements as he changes things. Being the visionary that he is, Scott's actually designed the roof to be able to hold a shipping container and a living roof eventually. The current roof is an anomaly in itself. Scott has a solar system as well as a weather station that lets him know how the wind, rain, and solar power is affecting his property. So Scott, I'm a little confused about the whole container shell thing. Can you further expand on that and the weather station?
Okay, very good question. The container idea is a way to expand this house, which is a 1,200 square foot house, that has no opportunity to move laterally or front to back because of setback requirements.
So actually your footprint will stay the same.
So the footprint stays the same, precisely. And the weather station was set up initially as a way to monitor the climate and the weather patterns that would affect the performance of the roof and the house.
I've noticed that you have this theme of yellow going. There's accents of yellow all over the place, including the garage and all the struts out here. Is there something in that? Is there something we should know about?
Besides the fact that the black-eyed Susans kind of inspired me, it was actually your toenails having been painted that color that got me hip to this solar design, basically branding the house with solar.
Scott, you appear to be an innovator on how you've set up your solar system. I would love for you to tell people how you did it in a step-by-step routine.
Absolutely. First of all, it's the solar panels. You have to design the solar panels and lay the solar panels out. Then you decide where the supports for the panels go. Then you extend those supports out to create a shade element. This is what the material looks like. It's a telescoping tubing. It's a very easily available and low-cost product.
Like how much would that cost? Just curious.
You literally bolt it together. I bolted this entire array, a 3,000 watt solar system, and this entire shade canopy or power porch in about 2 days. It cost $1,200.
That is outstanding.
And then by the way, I powder coated it yellow.
Of course.
And that was $500.
So Scott, you're a master at reuse. In fact, I'm curious, what have you done around this house to repurpose things for a new life? Or even if you found things off-site and then you brought them home. Give me some examples of that.
The first application of reuse, I think, would be the fireplace itself, where we had a lot of stone that we didn't like the looks of. We wanted to use that to actually bring out into the landscape to use to support this deck. In addition to that, what we did was we brought travertine from the Getty, and we use that as the hearth. So I had the stone laid down in front of the hearth from the Getty as a way of basically taking and recycling that material.
So Scott, one last question. As I've been looking at this hammock setup, I noticed that there's actually 2 of the yellow struts holding up the hammock. Is there any rhyme or reason for that? I'm just curious about what prompted you to use 2 struts for that.
I rigged it much like a ship. Having grown up in New England and sailed on Long Island Sound for many years as a boy, and having watched Bucky sail, for instance, I was moved by the idea of creating the metaphor of the yacht here on this deck in Southern California. And it creates, I think, an interesting expression and metaphor.
Even if you can't have a place like this, you could do small things to improve your carbon footprint. Let's face it, it's up to all of us to make small changes in our lifestyle to reduce the impact we're having on the earth. For more information, go to our website, www.sierraclubgreenhome.com. Thanks for joining us.